The moment life leaves the body, an ancient journey begins, a journey that lasts 49 days. What really happens in those 49 days after death? What do ancient texts say about this mysterious period? Why do so many cultures place such importance on these 7 weeks? Today, we will explore the profound answers hidden in the scriptures, myths, and spiritual traditions of the world. This is not just a story about death. It's a story about transformation, transition, and the ultimate passage of the soul. In many ancient cultures, death was not seen as an end, but as a beginning, the start of a journey that unfolds over a fixed period. The number 49, or 7 times 7, is deeply symbolic. 7 is a sacred number found throughout human history. 7 days in a week, 7 chakras in the body, 7 heavens in many cosmologies. 49 days, then, is the sacred cycle in which the soul is believed to navigate the afterlife, facing challenges, learning, and ultimately finding its next destination. One of the most detailed accounts of this journey comes from Tibetan Buddhism. According to the Bardo thodol, commonly known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the soul enters a state called the Bardo, an intermediate realm between death and rebirth. The Bardo lasts for 49 days, during which the consciousness experiences various visions and encounters. These experiences are shaped by the soul's own mind, karma, and readiness for liberation. Immediately after death, the soul is said to encounter what is called the clear light, a pure, radiant energy. Those who recognize and merge with this light can attain liberation and avoid rebirth. But for most, the soul is unsettled and passes through stages filled with visions that can be terrifying or blissful. These visions correspond to the soul's own fears, attachments, and past actions. During these 49 days, rituals and prayers by the living are crucial. They can help guide and support the soul's passage. But Tibetan Buddhism is not alone in this belief. In ancient Egyptian tradition, the dead underwent a 70-day process of mummification, but the crucial spiritual journey was believed to take place in the 49 days following death. The soul had to navigate the duat, the Egyptian underworld, where it faced trials, judgment, and transformation before reaching the eternal fields of Aru, the paradise of the afterlife. Similarly, in early Christianity and in certain Orthodox traditions, the 40 days after death are marked with special prayers and commemorations. The number 40 also holds deep spiritual significance, reflecting a time of testing and transition. The extension to 49 days in other traditions may reflect a similar belief in the soul's extended journey through the unseen world. Why 49 days? The symbolism of 7 weeks, 7 times 7 days, suggests a full cycle of completion. The soul has time to confront all aspects of its being, its attachments, its fears, its deeds. After this period, the soul either moves on to its next life, attains liberation, or rests in a final state. This framework offers comfort and meaning to those left behind and shapes powerful rituals around death. The ancient texts don't just describe a passive waiting period. Instead, they reveal a dynamic journey filled with transformation and opportunity. The soul is believed to pass through different realms or states of consciousness, each reflecting a layer of spiritual reality. These are not always easy to comprehend in physical terms. Many visions described are symbolic or metaphysical, challenging our usual ways of thinking. One fascinating detail is how these 49 days are considered time when the living and the dead are closer than ever. In some cultures, this period is marked by specific rituals meant to help the soul navigate its path. Offerings of food, chanting, meditation, and prayers are believed to have real effects on the soul's journey. It's a time of connection, not separation. In Japan, the concept of Shijikinichi, or the 49th day after death, marks the final memorial service for the deceased. This day is seen as the moment the soul transitions fully from the liminal space into its new existence. Families gather to honor the dead, pray for their peaceful passage, and release them from attachment to this world. The significance of this day resonates deeply across many Asian traditions. What about the modern world? How do these ancient beliefs about the 49 days after death influence us today? Despite scientific advancements and secular views, millions still find solace in these ancient frameworks. They offer a way to process grief, maintain bonds with those who have passed, and find meaning in the face of loss. We are just beginning to understand the powerful psychological and spiritual functions these rituals serve. The 49-day period creates a container for grief, giving it structure and time to unfold. It invites reflection on life, death, and what lies beyond. It encourages communities to come together, offering support and collective healing. So what really happens in the 49 days after death? According to ancient texts, the soul undergoes a profound journey, navigating unseen realms, facing visions, and preparing for its next phase. It is a time of transformation, where the boundaries between worlds grow thin. It is a sacred passage that connects the living and the dead in a shared experience of transition. This ancient wisdom reminds us that death is not a sudden stop, but a process, a journey filled with mystery, hope, and the possibility of liberation. It invites us to rethink our relationship with death, to honor the cycles of existence, and to recognize the deep spiritual dimensions of life's final chapter. What happens to the soul during these 49 days? According to Tibetan Buddhism, immediately after death, the consciousness detaches from the physical body and enters the first phase of the Bardo, the moment of recognition. This is when the soul encounters the clear light of reality, an experience described as brilliant, pure, and dazzling beyond any earthly light. This moment is critical. If the soul recognizes this light and merges with it, liberation from the cycle of rebirth can be achieved instantly. But most souls, unfamiliar and fearful, fail to grasp this opportunity and instead move into the next stages of the Bardo. The following days bring a sequence of vivid experiences, often described as visions of wrathful and peaceful deities, symbolic landscapes, and cosmic phenomena. These visions represent the soul's inner psychological state and karmic imprints. The soul's fears, attachments, and regrets manifest as terrifying entities, while moments of peace reflect past virtues and spiritual realizations. This dynamic experience can be overwhelming, and the soul is said to be highly impressionable, reacting strongly to its own mental projections. What role do the living play during this time? In Tibetan culture, elaborate rituals known as phawa and pujas are performed to assist the deceased. Monks chant sacred texts, family members offer prayers, and make symbolic offerings. These actions are believed to help the soul recognize the clear light, navigate the Bardo's challenges, and move toward a favorable rebirth or liberation. This is not just superstition. It reflects a deep understanding of the power of collective intention and spiritual support. Moving beyond Tibet, similar themes echo across cultures. In ancient Egypt, the soul's journey after death involved a passage through the Duat, a shadowy underworld filled with trials. The Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and incantations, was written to guide the soul through this realm. During the 49 days after death, the deceased underwent rituals and were believed to face judgment by Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The weighing of the heart against the feather of Ma'at symbolized the soul's moral balance, a test that determined whether it would continue to the eternal paradise or face annihilation. In China, Taoist and Buddhist traditions also speak of a transitional period after death. It is believed that the soul lingers for 7 weeks, during which it is susceptible to both danger and salvation. The family performs seventh-day memorials, lighting incense and making offerings to aid the spirit's journey. These practices reinforce the connection between the worlds of the living and the dead, emphasizing care, respect, and the hope for peaceful transition. Why is this period so important? It reflects the understanding that death is not a simple event, but a complex process of transformation. The soul's attachment to its former life, its regrets, and unresolved emotions can delay its progress. The 49 days provide a sacred time frame for the soul to confront these inner obstacles and prepare for the next phase. This is a time when the veil between worlds is thin, when spiritual growth and change are most potent. The psychological implications of this process are profound. Grief for the living is often chaotic and overwhelming, but the structure of the 49-day journey offers a path for healing. It encourages the mourners to engage in meaningful rituals, reflect on the impermanence of life, and find peace in the idea that their loved one is undergoing a sacred passage. This can ease suffering and foster acceptance. Some ancient texts describe the soul's progress through various realms or bardos during this time. Each bardo represents a stage of consciousness. The moment of death, the experience of reality's true nature, karmic visions, and the preparation for rebirth. These stages are not linear or strictly sequential. The soul may cycle through them repeatedly, influenced by its own mental state and external spiritual assistance. The concept of karma is central to understanding the 49 days. The soul carries the weight of its past actions, both good and bad. These karmic imprints influence the visions it encounters and the possibilities for its next incarnation. Those who have cultivated compassion and wisdom may experience peaceful realms and higher rebirths. Those burdened by anger, greed, or ignorance may face frightening visions and lower rebirths. The 49 days, therefore, are a time for karmic reckoning and spiritual opportunity. Interestingly, this period also appears in some Christian traditions, though in different forms. The Orthodox Church, for example, holds memorial services on the 3rd, 9th, and 40th days after death, reflecting a belief that the soul's journey and judgment continue beyond the physical demise. The 40th day, close to the 49-day cycle, is often considered the moment the soul reaches its final destination. These practices reveal a universal human awareness of death as a process, not an instant. In Japan, the 49th day is a major milestone in Buddhist funerary rites. It marks the conclusion of mourning rituals, symbolizing the soul's final departure from the liminal state. Families perform ceremonies to release the soul, freeing it from earthly ties and helping it to move on peacefully. This highlights the enduring cultural power of the 49-day period as a sacred time of transition. What lessons can we draw from these ancient traditions? The 49 days after death are more than superstition or myth. They are profound reflections on the nature of consciousness, the soul's journey, and the interconnection between life and death. They remind us that death is not an abrupt end, but a transformation, and that the care we give to the dying and the dead has deep spiritual significance. In a world often focused on speed, efficiency, and denial of death, the concept of a 49-day passage invites us to slow down, to honor the mysteries of life's end, and to support those in transition. It offers a framework for understanding death that encompasses fear, hope, grief, and transcendence. The journey through the 49 days after death is not only about the soul's experience, but also deeply intertwined with the practices and beliefs of those left behind. Across cultures, the living performs specific rituals, prayers, and ceremonies designed to assist the departed soul on its path. These rituals are more than tradition. They embody a profound understanding of the connection between the material world and the spiritual realm. In Tibetan Buddhism, for instance, family members and monks gather to chant the Bardo thodol. the Tibetan Book of the Dead, aloud, reciting prayers and guidance intended to awaken the soul to the true nature of reality. These chants are performed in the days following death and throughout the 49-day period. The belief is that the sound vibrations of these prayers help the deceased recognize the clear light and avoid negative rebirths. The collective focus and spiritual energy generated during these rituals are thought to influence the soul's journey positively. Similarly, in Hinduism, the period after death is marked by the ritual called Shraddha, which involves offerings and ceremonies to honor the ancestors. The rituals often last for 13 days or longer, but the transitional period is considered significant for the departed soul's journey to the afterlife. Offerings of food, water, and sacred substances are made to nourish the spirit, ensuring it has the strength and support needed for its voyage beyond. These acts of devotion not only assist the deceased, but also help the living process grief and reaffirm the bonds between generations. The significance of food offerings during the 49 days is echoed in East Asian traditions as well. In Japan, the family prepares meals that are believed to be spiritually received by the soul during memorial services held on specific days, especially the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, 35th, 42nd, and 49th days after death. These intervals mark the soul's progress through the liminal space and its gradual detachment from earthly attachments. The final 49th day ceremony is often the most important, symbolizing the soul's release from the transitional state and entry into its new existence. These rituals share a common thread. They provide a sacred framework within which grief can be expressed and the mystery of death acknowledged. They create a space where the living can actively participate in the process of transition, fostering healing and spiritual connection. The cyclical nature of the memorial days encourages the family to come together repeatedly, reinforcing communal bonds and the continuity of life beyond death. What about the soul's inner journey during this time? Ancient texts often describe the soul as facing a series of judgments or tests that reflect its moral and spiritual state. In Egyptian mythology, the weighing of the heart ceremony was central to the soul's fate. If the heart was lighter than the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice, the soul was allowed to proceed to the blissful fields of Aru. If not, it faced destruction or further purification. This theme of moral reckoning is echoed in many other cultures, highlighting a universal human concern with justice and the consequences of earthly actions. In the Buddhist framework, karma plays a crucial role in shaping the soul's experiences in the Bardo. The visions and encounters during the 49 days are not random, but directly linked to the soul's past deeds, intentions, and mental habits. This karmic feedback loop offers the soul opportunities for realization and correction. The 49 days are thus a powerful spiritual classroom, where the soul learns, confronts, and ultimately prepares for rebirth or liberation. The psychological dimension of these ancient beliefs is profound. The liminal state between life and death is portrayed as a time of heightened awareness and transformation. The soul's vulnerability mirrors the grief and confusion of the living, creating a powerful parallel that underscores the interconnectedness of existence. This period encourages reflection on impermanence, attachment, and the nature of consciousness itself. Across different cultures, the idea of a set time for the soul's transition serves practical and spiritual purposes. It marks a defined period for mourning and remembrance, providing structure to what might otherwise be an overwhelming and chaotic experience. The rituals and beliefs associated with the 49 days create a bridge between worlds, easing the passage for both the deceased and the living. Interestingly, some modern psychological studies suggest that rituals surrounding death and mourning have measurable benefits for emotional healing. The structured period of remembrance, such as the 49 days, allows individuals and communities to process grief gradually and collectively. This may explain why such practices have endured across time and cultures, even in societies with vastly different beliefs. In summary, the 49 days after death represent a sacred passage filled with ritual, reflection, and spiritual significance. The soul's journey through the Bardo or equivalent realms is influenced by its own karma, the support of the living, and the ancient wisdom encoded in sacred texts. This period is a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand and honor the mystery of death, transformation, and what lies beyond. Across the ancient world, the 49-day journey after death reveals striking similarities that transcend geography and culture, suggesting a shared human understanding of the soul's transformation. For example, in the indigenous traditions of the Andes, the deceased are believed to enter a transitional state lasting several weeks, where their souls travel through various realms before rejoining ancestors or reincarnating. Rituals involving offerings, music, and communal ceremonies echo those found in Asian and Egyptian practices, emphasizing the universality of this sacred passage. In ancient Mesopotamia, texts like the Descent of Inanna portrayed death and the journey of the soul as a complex process involving multiple stages and trials. Though the exact number 49 may not be explicit, the concept of a defined period of transformation aligns closely with other traditions. The soul's passage through dark realms before rebirth or eternal rest reflects a profound human concern with moral reckoning and spiritual evolution. The 49-day framework also appears symbolically in Jewish mysticism. The counting of the Omer, a 7-week period between Passover and Shavuot, involves spiritual preparation and transformation. While not directly about death, the symbolic use of 7 times 7 days as a sacred cycle resonates with the themes of purification and transition found in afterlife beliefs. Some scholars argue that early Jewish thought may have influenced later Christian and other traditions' focus on a 40 to 49-day period after death. Christianity itself, particularly in Eastern Orthodox and some early Western traditions, incorporates memorial services on the 3rd, 9th, and 40th days after death, with the 40th day symbolizing the soul's final judgment and entrance into eternal life. The 40-day mark reflects biblical numerology, where 40 often signifies periods of trial, testing, or completion, such as Jesus' 40 days in the desert or the Israelites' 40 years in the wilderness. The extension to 49 days in some cultures may be understood as a full spiritual cycle, combining 7 weeks of transformation. In the Islamic tradition, although the exact number of days after death varies, mourning periods and prayer for the deceased often last for 40 days, emphasizing reflection and spiritual support. The Quran and Hadith describe the soul's journey after death, the questioning by angels, and the soul's experience in the grave, reflecting a belief in a transitional phase before the final resurrection. The similarity in these time frames again underscores a widespread awareness of death as a process unfolding over weeks rather than moments. What unites all these diverse beliefs is the recognition that death is not an abrupt ending, but a transitional passage. The soul undergoes a series of experiences, confrontations, and transformations that shape its destiny. This journey demands attention, ritual, and respect, a time when the living and the dead remain intimately connected. The power of the number 49, or 7 times 7, cannot be overstated. 7 is a number linked to cycles of completion, perfection, and cosmic order. Multiplying it by itself intensifies its sacred meaning, suggesting a complete spiritual process. This numerical symbolism deepens the mystery and reverence surrounding the 49 days after death. Moreover, the 49-day period serves a vital psychological role for the bereaved. It offers a timeline for mourning, remembrance, and acceptance. The repeated rituals and memorials encourage ongoing engagement with the reality of loss, gradually helping individuals and communities integrate grief into their lives. This structured mourning contrasts with modern tendencies to suppress or rush through grief, highlighting the enduring wisdom of ancient practices. The teachings embedded in the 49-day journey also invite us to reflect on the nature of the soul and consciousness. Is the soul an eternal essence that journeys through realms beyond the physical? Does consciousness persist after the body's death, experiencing visions and learning lessons? These questions remain central to spirituality and philosophy, with the 49-day narrative offering one compelling answer. Furthermore, the transitional journey after death mirrors the human experience of transformation in life. Just as the soul passes through stages after death, individuals undergo cycles of change, challenge, and growth throughout their existence. The symbolism of the 49 days encourages us to embrace transition, uncertainty, and renewal, both in life and beyond. In contemporary spiritual practice, many seek to revive or adapt the wisdom of the 49-day journey. Meditation, prayer, and ritual aimed at supporting the soul after death have found new expressions in modern contexts. Communities gather to honor the deceased, lighting candles or holding memorials on the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, 35th, 42nd, and 49th days, echoing ancient rhythms. These practices offer solace, connection, and hope. They remind us that death is woven into the fabric of existence, that the journey continues beyond what we see, and that love and remembrance transcend the boundaries of life and death. As we explore the 49 days after death, we uncover not only ancient wisdom, but also timeless truths about humanity's search for meaning. The journey is universal, profound, and deeply moving. It challenges us to confront mortality with courage, compassion, and reverence. What will you carry from this sacred knowledge? How might the understanding of the 49-day passage shape your view of death, life, and the connections between? The answers lie not only in ancient texts, but in the living experience of each of us as we navigate the mysteries of existence. The 49 days after death are a bridge between worlds, between life and afterlife, between loss and hope. They invite us to honor the passage, to support the journey, and to recognize that in every ending, there is a new beginning. The 49-day journey after death is not merely a passive passage, but an active transformation deeply influenced by the state of the soul's mind, its attachments, fears, and desires. Ancient texts describe how the soul's consciousness moves through shifting landscapes, symbolic encounters, and karmic reckonings that reflect its inner spiritual condition. This process is neither uniform nor automatic. It is a dynamic interplay between the soul's readiness and the spiritual energies it encounters. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Bardo states during the 49 days are vividly detailed. After encountering the clear light, if the soul fails to recognize it, it passes through successive bardos filled with peaceful and wrathful deities. These deities represent different aspects of the soul's psyche, some inviting liberation, others provoking fear. The soul's responses to these visions determine its path. Recognizing the peaceful deities leads to liberation or a favorable rebirth, while succumbing to fear and aversion may result in less desirable outcomes. The role of karma during this period cannot be overstated. The soul carries the cumulative weight of its past actions, thoughts, and intentions. Positive karma generates peaceful visions and aids the journey toward higher realms or enlightenment. Negative karma produces frightening images and potential rebirth in lower states. The 49 days, then, act as a liminal classroom where the soul confronts its true nature and the consequences of its earthly life. This spiritual teaching is not only metaphysical, but also profoundly psychological. The visions encountered are often interpreted as projections of the soul's own mental landscape, its unresolved conflicts, desires, and fears. The process offers a chance for self-awareness and transformation, even beyond death. It reveals that death is a continuation of inner evolution rather than an abrupt cessation. In ancient Egyptian tradition, the journey after death involved the soul facing judgment before Osiris, where the heart's purity was weighed against the feather of Ma'at. This test was a moment of moral reckoning, determining whether the soul could enter the eternal fields or face annihilation. The Egyptian Book of the Dead contains spells to guide the soul through dangerous obstacles, emphasizing that knowledge and preparation were vital for a successful transition. The soul's journey through the Duat was filled with symbolic challenges, reflecting not only external dangers, but also inner trials of courage, truthfulness, and purity. This parallels the Buddhist Bardo's spiritual challenges, suggesting a shared human understanding of death as a transformative process requiring strength, wisdom, and guidance. In Hinduism, the transitional period after death is marked by the soul's travel through various realms, influenced by its karma and the rituals performed by the living. The Pitru Paksh period involves honoring ancestors, offering food and prayers to support the departed. These practices are believed to ease the soul's journey, help it find peace, and secure a favorable rebirth or union with the divine. The influence of the living on the soul's journey is a recurring theme across cultures. Rituals, prayers, and acts of remembrance are not simply symbolic. They are thought to have tangible effects on the spiritual state of the departed. This reciprocal relationship underscores the interconnectedness of all beings and the ongoing bonds that transcend death. Psychologically, this dynamic interaction offers comfort and meaning to the bereaved. It transforms death from a terrifying mystery into a process where love, remembrance, and spiritual effort can make a real difference. This perspective fosters hope and encourages active participation in mourning and healing. The period of 49 days also aligns with natural rhythms of grief and adjustment. Modern psychological research shows that grief unfolds in stages and over time, often requiring weeks or months to process. The ancient framework of 49 days provides a sacred timeline that mirrors this natural unfolding, creating space for reflection, ritual, and gradual acceptance. In contemporary spiritual communities, the revival of these ancient practices speaks to a deep human need to reconnect with death's sacred dimensions. Memorial services, meditation, and prayer on key days throughout the 49-day period are increasingly embraced, offering structured support for both the soul and the living. The enduring power of the 49-day journey lies in its ability to address the mysteries of death with reverence, wisdom, and compassion. It bridges the visible and invisible worlds, offering a path for transformation that transcends cultural boundaries. As we approach the final part of this exploration, we will delve into personal stories, testimonies, and modern interpretations that bring the ancient 49-day journey to life. We will see how this sacred passage continues to inspire, comfort, and challenge us in our own experiences with death and transformation. Death is not an ending, but a doorway. The 49 days after death invite us to walk through that door with awareness, courage, and love, honoring the journey of the soul and the profound mysteries that connect us all. In the final days of the 49-day journey, the soul reaches a critical threshold, the moment of transition from the liminal state into its next existence. Ancient texts describe this as the culmination of the soul's passage, where all accumulated experiences, karmic consequences, and spiritual insights converge. It is a time of profound transformation, release, and new beginnings. In Tibetan Buddhism, the 49th day marks the conclusion of the Bardo period. The soul is believed to either take rebirth, enter a higher realm, or achieve liberation based on its spiritual readiness and karmic merit. The rituals performed by the living during these weeks are thought to help facilitate this transition, guiding the soul toward a favorable outcome. The 49th day ceremony is a powerful moment of closure, honor, and sacred release. Similarly, in Japan, the 49th day after death is celebrated with a memorial service called Shijikanichi. Families gather to commemorate the deceased's passage and pray for their peaceful transition. This ceremony is considered essential for releasing the soul from earthly attachments and allowing it to move fully into the next world. The practice reflects a deep cultural respect for the process of dying and the continuation of life beyond death. The significance of this final day resonates in many other traditions as well. It symbolizes completion, fulfillment, and the turning of the spiritual wheel. It is the moment when the soul's journey through the shadowy realms concludes and its fate is sealed. Whether that fate is rebirth, liberation, or rest depends on countless factors: the soul's actions, its spiritual awareness, and the prayers of the living. But beyond the rituals and beliefs, the 49-day journey after death offers a timeless message for the living. It reminds us that death is not a sudden event, but a process, one that invites reflection, compassion, and connection. It teaches us to honor the transitions in life with mindfulness and respect. The ancient wisdom of the 49 days invites us to consider our own lives and how we prepare for death. It encourages us to cultivate kindness, forgiveness, and spiritual growth, knowing that these qualities shape our journey beyond the physical. It also calls us to support those who are dying and those who grieve, recognizing the power of community and ritual in healing. In a world that often fears death or denies its reality, the teachings surrounding the 49 days offer a path of acceptance and hope. They reveal a vision of existence where life and death are interconnected stages of a larger cycle, one that embraces mystery, transformation, and the eternal journey of the soul. As we conclude this exploration, remember that the 49 days after death are more than an ancient tradition. They're a profound story of transition that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human. They connect us across time and culture, reminding us that death is a sacred passage and that the journey continues. So when faced with loss, grief, or the mystery of what comes next, consider the wisdom of the 49 days. Let it guide you toward understanding, compassion, and peace. The soul's journey is universal, and in honoring it, we honor life itself. Thank you for joining this deep exploration of the 49 days after death. May this ancient knowledge bring comfort, insight, and hope to your own journey, wherever it may lead.